Geoffrey Whitworth Theatre presents an audio production of Mrs. Warren's Profession by George Bernard Shaw. Episode 4. Afternoon. An office in Chancery Lane. 1892.
Come in. It's not locked.
What are you doing here in Chancery Lane?
Waiting to see you. I've been here for hours. Is this the way you attend to your business?
I've been away for exactly 20 minutes for a cup of tea. How did you get in?
The staff had not left when I arrived. He's gone to play cricket on Primrose Hill. Why don't you employ a woman and give your sex a chance?
What have you come for?
Viv, let's go and enjoy the Saturday half-holiday somewhere, like the staff. What do you say to Richmond and then a music hall and a jolly supper?
Can't afford it. I shall put in another 6 hours' work before I go to bed.
Can't afford it? Can't we? Aha! Look here! Gold, Viv, gold!
Where did you get that?
Gambling, Viv, gambling. Poker.
Oh, that's meaner than stealing it. No, I'm not coming.
But my dear Viv, I want to talk to you ever so seriously.
Very well. Sit down in Honoria's chair and talk here. I like a 10-minute chat after tea. No use groaning. I'm inexorable. Pass that cigar box, will you?
Nasty womanly habit. Nice men don't do it any longer.
Yes, they object to the smell in the office and we've had to take up cigarettes. See? Go ahead.
Well, I want to know what you've done. What arrangements you've made.
Everything was settled 20 minutes after I arrived here. Honoria has found the business too much for her this year, and she was on the point of sending for me and proposing a partnership when I walked in and told her I hadn't a farthing in the world. So I installed myself and packed her off on a fortnight's holiday. What happened to Hazelmere when I left?
Nothing at all. I said you'd gone to town on particular business.
Well?
Well, either they were too flabbergasted to say anything, or else Crofts had prepared your mother. Anyhow, she didn't say anything, and Crofts didn't say anything, and Praddy only stared. After tea they got up and went, and I've not seen them since.
Well, that's all right.
Do you intend to stick in this confounded place?
Yes. These 2 days have given me back all the strength and self-possession. I will never take a holiday again as long as I live.
You look quite happy. As hard as nails.
Well, for me that I am.
Look here, Viv. We must have an explanation. We parted the other day under a complete misunderstanding.
Well, clear it up.
You remember what Crofts said?
Yes.
That revelation was supposed to bring about a complete change in the nature of our feelings for one another. It placed us on the footing of brother and sister.
Yes.
Have you ever had a brother?
No.
Well, I have lots of sisters, and the fraternal feeling is quite familiar to me. I assure you my feeling for you is not the least in the world like it. The girls will go their way, I will go mine, and we shan't care if we never see one another again. That's brother and sister. But as to you, I can't be easy if I have to pass a week without seeing you. That's not brother and sister. It's exactly what I felt an hour before Crofts made his revelation. In short, dear Viv, it's love's young dream.
The same feeling, Frank, that brought your father to my mother's feet, is that it?
I very strongly object, Viv, to have my feelings compared to any which the Reverend Samuel is capable of harbouring, and I object still more to a comparison of you to your mother. Besides, I don't believe the story. I've taxed my father with it, and obtained from him what I consider tantamount to a denial.
What did he say?
He said he was sure there must be some mistake.
Do you believe him?
I'm prepared to take his word against Crofts.
Does it make any real difference? I mean, in your imagination or conscience? For of course it makes no real difference.
None whatever to me.
Nor to me.
Oh, but this is ever so surprising. I thought our whole relations were altered in your imagination and conscience, as you put it, the moment those words were out of that brute's muzzle.
No, it was not that. I didn't believe him. I only wish I could.
Eh?
I think brother and sister would be a very suitable relation for us.
You really mean that?
Yes. It's the only relation I care for. Even if we could afford any other. I mean that.
My dear Viv, why didn't you say so before? I'm ever so sorry for persecuting you. I understand, of course.
Understand what?
Oh, I'm not a fool. I see clearly that I'm no longer Vivum's little boy. Don't be alarmed. I shall never call you Vivums again. At least unless you get tired of your new little boy, whoever he may be.
My new little boy!
Must be a new little boy. Always happens that way. No other way, in fact.
None that you know of, fortunately for you.
My curse upon yon caller, whoever he be.
It's Praed. He's going to Italy and wanted to say goodbye.
We can continue our conversation after his departure for Italy. I'll stay him out. How are you, Praddy? Delighted to see you. Come in.
How do you do, Miss Warren? I start in an hour from Holborn Viaduct. I wish I could persuade you to try Italy.
What for?
Why, to saturate yourself with beauty and romance, of course.
No use, Praddy. Viv is a little Philistine. She's indifferent to my romance and insensible to my beauty.
Mr. Praed, once and for all, there is no beauty and no romance in life for me. Life is what it is, and I am prepared to take it as it is.
You will not say that if you come with me to Verona and on to Venice. You will cry with delight at living in such a beautiful world.
That is most eloquent, Praddy. Keep it up.
At your age, Miss Warren, you would not need to go so far as Verona. Your spirits would absolutely fly up at the mere sight of Ostend. You would be charmed with the gaiety, the vivacity, the happy air of Brussels.
Ugh!
What's the matter?
Can you find no better example of your beauty and romance than Brussels to talk to me about?
Well, of course, it's very different from Verona. I don't suggest for a moment that you
Probably the beauty and romance come to much the same in both places.
My dear Miss Warren, is anything the matter?
She thinks your enthusiasm frivolous, Praddy.
Oh, be quiet, Frank. Don't be silly.
Do you call this good manners, Praed?
Shall I take him away, Miss Warren? I feel sure we have disturbed you at your work.
Sit down. I'm not ready to go back to work yet. You both think I have an attack of nerves. Not a bit of it. But there are two subjects I want dropped, if you don't mind. One of them is love's young dream in any shape or form. The other is the romance and beauty of life, especially in Ostend and the gaiety of Brussels. You are welcome to any illusions you may have left on these subjects. I have none. If we three are to remain friends, I must be treated as a woman of business, permanently single and permanently unromantic.
I also shall remain permanently single until you change your mind. Praddy, change the subject. Be eloquent about something else.
I'm afraid there's nothing else in the world that I can talk about. The gospel of art is the only one I can preach. Now, I know Miss Warren is a great devotee of the gospel of getting on, but we can't discuss that without hurting your feelings, Frank, since you are determined not to get on.
Oh, don't mind my feelings. Give me some improving advice by all means. It does me ever so much good. Have another try to make a successful man of me. Energy, thrift, foresight, self-respect, character.
Oh, stop. Let us have no more of that horrible cant. Mr. Praed, if there are really only those two gospels in the world, we had better all kill ourselves, for the same taint is in both, through and through.
There is a touch of poetry about you today, Viv, which has hitherto been lacking.
My dear Frank, aren't you a little unsympathetic?
No, it's good for me. It keeps me from being sentimental.
Checks your strong natural propensity that way, don't it?
Oh yes, go on, don't spare me. I was sentimental for one moment in my life, beautifully sentimental, by moonlight, and now...
I say, Viv, take care. Don't give yourself away.
Oh, do you think Mr. Praed does not know at all about my mother? You had better have told me that morning, Mr. Praed. You are very old-fashioned in your delicacies, after all.
Well, surely it is you who are a little old-fashioned in your prejudices, Miss Warren. I feel bound to tell you that although I know that your mother is an unmarried woman, I do not respect her the less on that account. I respect her more.
Hear, hear.
Is that all you know?
Certainly that is all.
Then neither of you know anything. Your guesses are innocence itself compared with the truth.
I hope not, Miss Warren.
You are not making it easy for me to tell you, Mr. Praed.
If there is anything worse, that is, anything else, are you sure you are right to tell us, Miss Warren?
I'm sure that if I had the courage, I should spend the rest of my life in telling everybody, stamping it and branding it into them until they all felt their part in this abomination as I feel mine. There is nothing I despise more than the wicked convention that protects these things by forbidding a woman to mention them. And yet I can't tell you. The two infamous words that describe what my mother is are ringing in my ears and struggling on my tongue. But I can't utter them. The shame is too horrible for me. Here, let me draft you a prospectus.
Oh, she's mad. Do you hear, Viv? Mad. Come, pull yourself together.
No, you shall see. Paid up capital, no less than £40,000 standing in the name of Sir George Crofts, Baronet, the chief shareholder. Premises at Brussels, Ostend, Vienna, and Budapest. Managing Director, Mrs. Warren. And now, don't let us forget her qualifications. Those 2 words. There. Oh, no, please don't read it, don't.
Viv, dear, that's all right. I read what you wrote, so did Praddy. We understand, and we remain, as this leaves us at present, yours ever so devotedly.
We do indeed, Miss Warren. I declare you are the most splendidly courageous woman I ever met.
Don't stir, Viv, if you don't want to. Take it easy.
Thank you. You can always depend on me for 2 things. Not to cry and not to faint. I shall need much more courage than that when I tell my mother that we have come to a parting of ways. Now, I must go into the next room for a moment to make myself neat again, if you don't mind.
Shall we go away?
No, I'll be back presently. Only for a moment.
What an amazing revelation. I'm extremely disappointed in Crofts. I am indeed.
I'm not in the least. I feel he's perfectly accounted for at last. But what a facer for me, Praddy. I can't marry her now.
Frank, let me tell you, Gardner, that if you desert her now, you will behave very despicably.
Good old Praddy. Ever chivalrous. But you mistake. It's not the moral aspect of the case, it's the money aspect.
And was that what you were going to marry her on?
What else? I haven't any money, nor the smallest turn for making it. If I married Viv now, she would have to support me, and I should cost her more than I am worth.
But surely a clever, bright fellow like you can make something by your own brains.
Oh yes, a little. I made all that yesterday in an hour and a half, but I made it in a highly speculative business. No, dear Praddy, I shall be on short allowance for the next 20 years. No short allowance for Viv if I can help it. I withdraw gracefully and leave the field to the gilded youth of England. So that's settled. I shan't worry her about it. I'll just send her a little note after we're gone. She'll understand.
Good fellow, Frank. I heartily beg your pardon. But must you never see her again?
Never see her again? Hang it all, be reasonable. I shall come along as often as possible and be her brother. I can not understand the absurd consequences you romantic people expect from the most ordinary transactions. Oh, I wonder who this is. Would you mind opening the door? If it's a client, he'll look more respectable than if I appeared.
Certainly. My dear Kitty, come in, come in.
What? You're here, are you?
Here, and charmed to see you. You come like a breath of spring.
Oh, get out with your nonsense. Where's Vivie? Praddy, won't she see me, don't you think?
My dear Kitty, don't distress yourself. Why should she not?
Oh, you could never see why not. You're too innocent. But, Mr. Frank, did she say anything to you?
She must see you if you will wait till she comes in.
Why shouldn't I wait?
My dear Mrs. Warren, suppose you were a sparrow, ever so tiny and pretty a sparrow, hopping in the roadway, and you saw a steamroller coming in your direction. Would you wait for it?
Oh, don't bother me with your sparrows. What did she run away from Hazelmere like that for?
I'm afraid she'll tell you if you rashly await her return.
You want me to go away?
No, I always want you to stay, but I advise you to go away.
What? And never see her again?
Precisely.
Praddy, don't let him be cruel to me. George will be angry if she sees I've been crying.
You know that Praddy is the soul of kindness, Mrs. Warren. Praddy, what do you say? Go or stay?
I really should be very sorry to cause you unnecessary pain, but I think perhaps you had better not wait. The fact is...
Shh! Too late. She's coming.
Don't tell her I was crying. Well, dearie, so here you are at last.
I'm glad you've come. I want to speak to you. You said you were going, Frank, I think.
Yes. Will you come with me, Mrs. Warren? What do you say to a trip to Richmond and the theatre in the evening? There is safety in Richmond. No steamroller there.
Nonsense, Frank. My mother will stay here.
Oh, I don't know. Perhaps I'd better go. We're disturbing you at your work.
Mr. Parade, please take Frank away. Sit down, Mother.
Come, Frank. Goodbye, Miss Vivie.
Goodbye. A pleasant trip.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope so.
Goodbye, Mrs. Warren. You'd ever so much better have taken my advice. Bye-bye, Viv.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Kitty.
Goodbye. Well, Vivie, what did you go away like that for without saying a word to me? How could you do such a thing? And what have you done to poor George? Only fancy he wanted me not to come. As if I should be afraid of you, dearie. But of course, I told him it was all settled and comfortable between us and that we were on the best of terms. So, Vivie, what's the meaning of this? I got it from the bank this morning.
It's my month's allowance. They sent it to me as usual the other day. I simply sent it back to be placed to your credit. In future I shall support myself.
Wasn't it enough? Why didn't you tell me? I'll double it. I was intending to double it. Only let me know how much you want.
You know very well that that has nothing to do with it. From this time I go my own way, in my own business, and among my own friends. And you will go yours. Goodbye.
Goodbye?
Yes, goodbye. Oh, come, don't let us make a useless scene. You understand perfectly well. Sir George Crofts has told me the whole business.
Oh, the silly old...
Just so.
He ought to have his tongue cut out. But I thought it was ended. You said you didn't mind.
Excuse me, I do mind.
But I explained.
You explained how it came about. You did not tell me that it is still going on.
Vivie, do you know how rich I am?
Oh, I have no doubt that you are very rich.
But you don't know what all that means. You're too young. It means everything you like, everything you want, everything you can think of. And what do you hear? A mere drudge, toiling and moiling early and late for your bare living and 2 cheap dresses a year. Think over it. I know you'll think better of it when you've turned it over in your mind.
So that's how it's done, is it? You must have said that to many women to have it so pat.
What harm am I asking you to do? Vivie, listen to me. You don't understand. You were taught wrong on purpose. You don't know what the world is really like.
Taught wrong on purpose? What do you mean?
I mean that you're throwing away all your chances for nothing. You think that people are what they pretend to be. That the way you were taught at school and college to think right and proper is the way things really are. But it's not. It's all only a pretense to keep the cowardly, slavish common run of people quiet. Vivie, the big people, the clever people, the managing people all know it. They do as I do and think what I think. What do the people that taught you know about life or about people like me? The fools. Would they have ever done anything for you if I hadn't paid them? Haven't I told you that I want you to be respectable? Haven't I brought you up to be respectable? And how can you keep it up without my money and my influence and Liz's friends? Don't you see that you're cutting your own throat as well as breaking my heart in turning your back on me?
I recognise the Crofts' philosophy of life, Mother. I heard it all from him that day at the gardener's.
You think that I want to force that played-out old sot on you? I don't, Vivie. On my oath, I don't.
It would not matter if you did. You would not succeed. Mother, you don't know at all the sort of woman I am. I don't object to Crofts more than to any other causely built man of his class. And I'm perfectly aware that if I'd have been in the same circumstances as my Aunt Liz, I'd have done exactly what she did. I don't think I'm more prejudiced or straight-laced than you. I think I'm less. I'm certain I'm less sentimental. And I know very well that fashionable morality is all a pretense, and that if I took your money and devoted the rest of my life to spending it fashionably, I might be as worthless and vicious as the silliest woman could possibly be. But I don't want to be worthless. I shouldn't enjoy trotting about the park to advertise my dressmaker or carriage builder, or being bored at the opera to show off a shop window full of diamonds.
But
Wait a moment, I'm not done. Tell me why you continue your business now that you are independent of it. Your sister, you told me, has left that business behind her. Why won't you do the same?
oh, it's all very easy for Liz. She likes good society and has the air of being a lady. Imagine me in a cathedral town. Why, the very rooks in the trees would find me out, even if I could stand the dullness of it. I must have work and excitement, or I should go melancholy mad. And what else is there for me to do? The life suits me. I'm fit for it and not for anything else. If I didn't do it, somebody else would, so I don't do any real harm by it. And then it brings in the money, and I like making money. No, it's no use. I can't give it up, not for anybody. But what do you need to know about it? I'll never mention it. I'll keep Crofts away. I'll not trouble you much. You see, I have to be constantly running about from one place to another. You'll be quit of me altogether when I die.
No. I am my mother's daughter. I am like you. I must have work and must make more money than I spend. But my work is not your work, and my way is not your way. Oh, we must part. It will not make much difference to us. Instead of meeting one another perhaps a few months in 20 years, we shall never meet, that's all.
Vivie, I meant to have been more with you. I did indeed.
It's no use, Mother. I am not to be changed by a few cheap tears and entreaties, any more than you are, I dare say.
Oh, you call a mother's tears cheap?
They cost you nothing, and you ask me to give you the peace and quietness of my whole life in exchange for them. What use would my company be to you if you could get it? What have we two in common that could make either of us happy together?
We're mother and daughter. I want my daughter. I've a right to you. Who is to care for me when I'm old? Plenty of girls have taken to me like daughters and cried at leaving me. But I let them all go because I had you to look forward to. I kept myself lonely for you. You've no right to turn on me now and refuse to do your duty as a daughter.
My duty as a daughter? I thought we should come to that presently. Now, once and for all, you want a daughter and Frank wants a wife. I don't want a mother, and I don't want a husband. I have spared neither Frank nor myself in sending him about his business. Do you think I will spare you?
Oh, I know the sort you are. No mercy for yourself or anyone else, I know. A pious, canting, hard, selfish woman. Well, keep yourself to yourself. I don't want you. But listen to this. Do you know what I would do with you if you were a baby again? Aye, as sure as there's heaven above us.
Strangle me, perhaps?
No, I'd bring you up to be a real daughter to me and not what you are now with your pride and your prejudices and the college education you stole from me. Yes, stole. Deny it if you can. What was it but stealing? I'd bring you up in my own house, I would.
Oh, what, in one of your own houses?
No, listen to her. Listen on how she spits on her mother's grey hairs. Or may you live to have a daughter of your own, tear and trample on you as you have trampled on me. And you will. You will. No woman ever had luck with a mother's curse on her.
Oh, I wish you wouldn't rant, Mother. It only hardens me. Come, I suppose I am the only young woman you ever had in your power that you did good to. Don't spoil it all now.
Yes, heaven forgive me, it's true. And you were the only one that's ever turned on me. Ah, the injustice of it. The injustice, the injustice. I always wanted to be a good woman. And because I made my daughter a good woman, she turns me out as if I were a leper. From this time forth, so help me heaven, in my last hour I'll do wrong and nothing but wrong. And I'll prosper on it.
Yes, it's better to choose your line and go through with it. If I had been you, Mother, I might have done as you did, but I should not have lived one life and believed in another. You are a conventional woman at heart. That is why I'm bidding you goodbye now. I'm right, am I not?
Right to throw away all my money?
No, right to get rid of you. I should be a fool not to, isn't that so?
Oh, well, yes, if you come to that, I suppose you are. But Lord help the world if everybody took to doing the right thing. And now I better go than stay where I'm not wanted.
Won't you shake hands?
No, thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye. And goodbye, Frank.
A GWT audio production with Gerald Bishop as Praed, Hannah Holland as Vivie Warren, Claire Dingley as Mrs. Kitty Warren, Ross Holland as Sir George Crofts, Sam Head as Frank Gardner, Maurice Tripp as the Reverend Samuel Gardner. Recorded and edited by James MacLeod, directed by Pauline Armour.